All right, today we are diving into one of the weirdest stories in crypto right now. We're talking about NKN. And it's a project that is just a huge contradiction, a real head scratcher, between what the market is doing and what's actually happening behind the scenes. So let's break it down. So get this. In just 1 week, when the rest of the market's kind of going sideways, one token just absolutely explodes. NKN shoots up over 146%. For a moment, it was the best performing crypto in the entire market. A move like that, well, it gets everyone's attention. So your first thought is, okay, what's the news? It has to be something huge, right? Like a major partnership, some revolutionary tech upgrade. What on earth could cause a pump that massive? Well, this is where the story gets completely bizarre. The actual news around NKN wasn't just not good, it was terrible. Right around the time of this insane price surge, the project was getting delisted from Binance, the biggest crypto exchange in the world. So yeah, a price pump in the face of disaster. How does that even happen? Okay, let's really get into this because it's such a classic crypto paradox. You've got a coin's price just completely disconnecting from reality, skyrocketing while it's facing what should be its absolute worst crisis. And I mean, just look at these numbers. They are absolutely insane. On March 27th, the price jumps almost 145%. But check out the volume, up over 600%. We're talking $24 million in trades. This wasn't a little blip. This was a huge, focused surge of activity. So, if it wasn't good project news that drove this, what was the engine behind it all? Well, this gets us to a really key idea in crypto, especially when you're talking about these smaller, riskier assets. It's a thing called microcap rotation. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like this. Imagine the big party with Bitcoin and Ethereum gets a little boring. A bunch of traders decide to go to the risky, high-stakes after party. They pull their money out and pile it into these tiny, low-liquidity tokens, just hoping to catch a super-fast speculative pump. NKN, well, it was the perfect target. And look, this isn't just me guessing here. Analysts at CoinMarketCap pointed this out directly. They said this whole thing was driven by market games, not by anything real happening with the project. And that's the key, right? It suggests these gains are built on, well, basically nothing. They're not sustainable. This chart does a perfect job of showing the difference between what happened to NKN and what real healthy growth looks like. That pump, it was pure speculation, driven by trends, super volatile, short-term, all focused on a low liquidity coin. It's the exact opposite of real growth, which is steady, long-term, and built on a project that people are actually using. Okay, so we've explained the crazy short-term market chaos, but now let's zoom out. Why does anyone even care about NKN in the first place? Let's talk about the bull case, the big, ambitious dream that its supporters are holding on to. So at its core, NKN literally stands for New Kind of Network, and their goal is huge. They want to build a whole new decentralized internet from the ground up. It lets everyday people share their extra internet bandwidth and get paid for it, creating this massive peer-to-peer network for everything from Web3 to AI. And you can see here just how fundamental this idea is. In the Web3 world, you really need three main pillars. You need decentralized computing, that's Ethereum. You need decentralized storage, that's Filecoin. And NKN wants to be that crucial third pillar, the decentralized network that connects everything together. And their roadmap, it is straight out of a science fiction novel. They're not just thinking about a messaging app. They're talking about building a communication system for billions of AI agents. And then, get this, expanding the network from Earth to the stars, literally targeting satellites and space communication. Come on, that's a wild vision. And hey, it's not just a PowerPoint slide. The network is actually doing work. At its peak, it was handling up to 35 billion messages a day. So there's a real functioning piece of tech under all this, not just a pipe dream. But, and you knew there was a but coming, right? That huge, grand vision is smashing headfirst into a pretty brutal reality. So let's flip over to the bear case and see just how shaky the foundation really is. The biggest hit, without a doubt, was getting kicked off of Binance. For a small project, that is catastrophic. It's like a store getting removed from Amazon. You immediately lose access to a huge number of buyers and sellers. The experts call it a major liquidity shock. It just makes the coin harder to trade and way less attractive for any serious investor. And this wasn't an overnight disaster. The warning signs have been there for a while. You can go all the way back to 2021 and find people in their own community complaining about what they called abysmal economics for the people running the network. So that internal weakness got hit with this huge external shock from Binance, and that's created the crisis they're in today. And you got to hear this quote from someone in their community. It really hits the nail on the head. It points to this huge identity crisis. Is NKN a utility token you use to pay for bandwidth? Or is the tech so good it should be treated like a new form of money? When your own community is that confused about what you are, that's a big red flag. So the bottom line is, NKN is fighting a war on multiple fronts. They've got the market access problem after being delisted. They've got a core economic model that has historically been really bad for the people who are supposed to be supporting the network. And as one person put it, their marketing is just tiny and awkward. So where does all this leave us? You have this incredible futuristic tech on one side and this just disastrous market situation on the other. Let's try to bring it all together and see what the charts are telling us. This first chart is just a perfect picture of market confusion. It's like you can see the market arguing with itself. In the short term, all the indicators are screaming buy, because of that huge pump. But the minute you zoom out to the mid and long term, it's all flashing sell. It's short-term hype versus long-term pain. But then you look at this analysis and it just cuts right through all that noise. Sure, a couple of the indicators say buy, but look at the moving averages. 12 different signals, and every single one says sell. The final verdict? A strong sell. The market, underneath all the hype, is deeply pessimistic here. And that's really what it all boils down to. The future of NKN is this massive tug of war. On one end of the rope, you have this truly innovative, ambitious technology. And on the other end, you have this brutal market reality, crippled liquidity and really bad sentiment. And that's the ultimate question we're left with, isn't it? In crypto, we've seen amazing tech die because of bad market dynamics. And we've seen simple projects succeed because of great hype. For NKN, which force is going to win out? Can this world-changing vision actually survive the harsh reality of its own market? That's the billion-dollar question.